Hello there, fellow humans. I hope you're all keeping safe. I trust you're cleaning your hands, you're sanitizing, and you're maintaining social distance. So today we are going to make some basic pilau, but this basic is pretty good. Try it out. So for this recipe, you will need some pre-boiled meat. I am using beef. Today you will also need some whole or powdered pilau masala. You will need either chili or black pepper. You will also need some curry powder. You will also need some garam masala. You need some potatoes. If your potatoes are big, please half them, but if they are small, leave them as they are. You will need some Royco cubes or salt to taste. Then you need some ginger and some garlic. You need a lot of onions for this. The more onions you have, the better. Of course, you will need some rice for this recipe. I am using 3.5 glasses. You will also need some coriander to garnish once your meal is ready. So we are now ready to start cooking. You need to add some vegetable oil into your cooking pot or pan, and if you are using whole spices, you can add them onto the pan directly. However, I prefer to crush mine just a little bit before I add it into the pan. So once I have crushed the spices, I add them into the now hot oil. You need to be a little bit careful because the oil can splash on you. I prefer having my pilau with a little bit of extra oil because there is no soup. So I will let the spices cook until you can smell them. So the moment you start to smell them, it's time to add your onions. Meanwhile, this is the boiling water that I used to pre-boil my meat. So instead of pouring it, I have kept it, and we will use it later in the course of the video. So I am now adding my onions, and I will let them cook until they turn brown. You do not want them to burn and turn black. You just want them to be brown. So the onions are now cooked. They are brown. You need to be careful not to let them turn black. I'm now adding in my ginger and my garlic. You do not want to put in your garlic especially before, because if it cooks for as long as the onions have, it will burn, and when garlic burns, it becomes quite bitter, so it will ruin the whole pilau experience for you. To prevent or stop the onions from cooking further, I am adding some of the water left from boiling the meat. You can use just water, so this stops the onions from burning. And then I will now add my spices. I am going in with some black pepper and then some garam masala and then some curry powder. In my opinion, curry powder is a very strong spice, so you do not want to use a lot of it because it can overpower the masala. If you use your pilau masala is in powder form, you add it at this point. So I am now adding some Royco cubes, which is what I prefer to use in place of salt. So in case you use salt, you also add it at this point. So I let that cook for a little bit. You can add your meat and your warus at that point, but I put in the water first. I'm just trying to measure it to make sure that I use the exact amount of water I am supposed to. My rice is 3.5 glasses, so I need to use 2 times of that for my water, but I need to measure it. So in case you do not have the soup from the meat, you can use plain water, which is what I added because it was not enough. Of course, if you love any other spices, you can add them here. I feel like spices are a preference thing, so if there's a spice that you enjoy that is not too overpowering, then you can use it here. You can use some paprika, you can use some cayenne, yeah. So after I have the water that I need, I will just let these start to boil before I add my rice. So once the water has just begun to boil, you will give it a little stir and then add your rice into the boiling water. I have not pre-washed my rice because it comes clean, but you may wash your rice before you add it to the boiling water, and then you will let this rest, but not until it's completely dry. Just before it's completely dry, we'll need to switch it. I hope you can tell from your view that the water is dry, yes, but there is still a bit of it at the bottom. So what you do at this point is you transfer your sufuria to that small meko or a small burner, and then you let it be at the lowest flame and let it cook on steam. So what that does is that it allows for, in case the rice had not fully cooked, there is not much pressure from the amount of heat going onto it, so it just cooks using the little water that was left and on low heat, so most of the cooking is through steam. So we are now ready to serve and to eat. As you can see, the warus did not overcook, so they are whole, so that's why you also need to be careful as you serve so that they don't break, because you know it's nice to be the one to break the waru. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you will also enjoy preparing it for your loved ones or for yourself. Thank you so much for being here, and I trust that you will be back for more. Bye.